Happy Friday. It is Friday, June 5th, and we have some severe weather to talk about. This actually just upgraded recently. We now have a slight risk up here through portions of Minnesota and Wisconsin. Then you can see that other slight risk stretching from the Central Plains through portions of the Midwest. We also have tropical weather to talk about. Tropical Storm Amanda. Now, this is expected to turn into a tropical depression over the coming days and eventually dissipate because it's moving into a less favorable environment. But then we have these two areas of concern right off the coast of Central America that both now have over a 50% chance of going through tropical cyclogenesis and actually becoming a tropical storm or a tropical cyclone. I quickly want to show you these on satellite. We can look at the standard infrared, and it's a little bit difficult to actually see what's going on here, but I do want to go to a split screen. So there's a little bit of spin in the atmosphere. It looks like around, you can see this one right here. You can see that spin, that low pressure, that's moving towards this kind of orange disturbance 2 area. And then in the red, there's a disturbance right in this region here as well. So very messy right now, very unorganized, but it could organize. Both of these could organize themselves over the coming days, and model guidance is suggesting that when you look at the GFS and Euro and other model guidance, most of them do have these storms attempting to go through tropical cyclogenesis. We could also see some convection actually move into the Gulf. Some of this convection move up into the Gulf, and there's also some guidance suggesting we could get a tropical system in the Gulf over the next 7 to 10 days. It's still up in the air. We don't have great model consensus, but just something to be aware of. All right, so quickly, I actually want to start with our severe weather. So let's go to our severe weather outlook for today, forecast for today. Here's our risk zones. Like I said, slight stretching from portions of Kansas and Nebraska out through Illinois. And then we have another slight risk. This is newer. This was more recently updated, stretching through portions of Minnesota and Wisconsin. This includes Minneapolis as well. And then down here, Chicago, Davenport, Des Moines, Omaha, Kearney, Kansas City, some of the larger cities in these risk zones and closer to the slight risk zone. Where's our main tornado threat today? From eastern Nebraska, more specifically east central and southeastern Nebraska, all the way through central to southern Iowa and then into northern Illinois. There's a slice of northern Missouri in this 2% tornado risk zone today as well. Remember, what does a 2% risk zone mean? From any one point in this green risk zone, there's a 25% chance a tornado could touch down today. This is not hatched. It is not a SIG 1, 2, or 3. So if you do get a tornado touchdown today, it's more likely to be EF0, EF1. These can do some tree damage, some roof damage. They're not obviously extremely dangerous. You should still take them seriously. There's always the chance that the forecast is incorrect and you could see an EF2 plus. So if you're in a tornado risk zone, if you're around a tornado risk zone, have your weather alerts on. Make sure you know what's going on today. Taking a look at our wind threat today, we do have a 5 to 15% chance for strong to severe thunderstorms today that could produce damaging winds. And down here specifically in eastern Nebraska, southwestern Iowa, and northwestern Missouri, we could see winds gusting over hurricane strength, so potentially even 80 plus miles per hour. That's why we have this SIG 1 zone here. So this is where the highest wind threat today is. Again, that's eastern Nebraska, southwestern Iowa, and northwestern Missouri. Taking a look at our hail threat today, the most significant hail threat today is in that same area as the wind. So it will include a portion of North Kansas, southeastern Nebraska, southwestern Iowa, and then again, northwestern Missouri, Omaha, Kearney, Des Moines, just north of Kansas City. You can see this area here. We could see 2-3+ inch hail today. We do now have a 15% hail risk up here through portions of Wisconsin and Minnesota that we didn't have before. Again, this includes some larger cities like Eau Claire, Minneapolis, Brainerd, and the surrounding areas there. Taking a look at our day 2, and we'll get into more details on these risk zones. Taking a look at our day 2 categorical risk, marginal to slight risk up there through portions of the northern plains, and then a large marginal stretching from the western Midwest, so from western Iowa and Missouri all the way out through New England up into Maine, and then that slight risk stretches through Ohio, PA, portions of upstate New York, and then you can see Connecticut, southern New Hampshire, Vermont, and then portions of Massachusetts and Rhode Island as well. Let's break this down. Our tornado threat today, portions of northeastern Ohio and western PA, Pittsburgh, Meadville, Cleveland, Mansfield, Akron, Youngstown, Canton, Newark, just to the northeast of Columbus. You guys can see who's in this 2% tornado risk tomorrow. Could be upgraded, so let's pay attention as new guidance comes out before we get into tomorrow. There's our wind threat tomorrow. Nothing's hatched. We don't have a SIG, so strong winds, 60+ mile per hour wind gusts are definitely possible tomorrow, but right now doesn't look like we're going to have significant damaging winds. Again, that could be upgraded. A lot of times we get same day upgrades and we could see stronger winds than expected. This is our hail threat for tomorrow, so 5 to 15% chance for hail out here as well tomorrow. Getting into our day 3 risks, so this is for Sunday. We have a marginal and slight risk up here through portions of the Dakotas. This is the time of year where Montana, Wyoming, the Dakotas, and Minnesota, the upper Midwest, get a lot more severe weather or higher chances for severe weather because The central U.S., the southern U.S. isn't getting that temperature baroclinic boundary anymore. It's very warm. You still have some of that push and pull of cold and warm air in the northern portions of the country. So not super rare for the Dakotas in this area up here to start seeing kind of day after day risk for severe weather this time of year. It usually is later on in the season, later on in severe weather season or tornado season. We also have a marginal out there in eastern Virginia through portions of the mid-Atlantic as well. Not looking like too crazy of a day. So you can see no day 4 risk. We do actually have a slight risk for severe weather, though. Day 5 next Tuesday and a day 6 slight for severe weather. That is going to be next Wednesday. Now, again, it's not every day. This isn't super rare to get a day 5 or day 6 risk zone, but it's also not super common. The SPC, the Storm Prediction Center, has to see something concerning to label a day 5 and day 6 risk. So I'm not going to go over this right now. Probably as we get into Sunday and this becomes a, day 3, day 4 risk, we'll go over this upcoming Tuesday and Wednesday in detail, but we have the potential to see some significant severe weather through portions of the Dakotas and Minnesota, and maybe even these risk zones could stretch out a little bit as we get into the middle of next week. So that is very interesting, having a day 5 and day 6 severe risk zone, especially up there in the northern plains and in the upper Midwest. As I said, we're watching these 2 disturbances in the Pacific. We have another and then we have a Tropical Storm Amanda out here. This isn't expected to affect Hawaii. It's, like I said, it's moving into an unfavorable environment. There is the potential, though, for some convection to float up into the Gulf, and there is some model guidance suggesting that we could try and see a spin up. Let me actually show you guys really quickly. I'll push over and we'll take a look at the Euro. Again, there's not complete model consensus, but I'll show you some of the things that people have been posting and that some people are concerned about. I'll tell you right now, there's nothing to be concerned about because it's too far out. We see too many times where model guidance 150 to 200 plus hours out sees a hurricane tropical system, and it never happens. But I'll show you what's kind of being talked about right now. This is the latest Euro, and actually it looks like, this is the 06Z, so it won't go far enough, but you can see on the 06Z, the Euro is getting these 2 tropical systems together. Not very strong, but this would be going into this upcoming Monday. They're trying to wrap up, go through tropical cyclogenesis and maybe move into Central America, not affecting the states. And they'd be pretty weak for Central America as well, but they could bring a lot of rainfall. So some flooding, definitely issues in Central America with this. But you're going to have a lot of flooding probably in Central America over this summer and into the winter potentially, because strong El Niños, which we know we're going into, bring a lot of convection, a lot of moisture to this region of the world. So regardless of tropical activity, I'd expect a lot of flood concerns through Central America. All right, so let's go back to the 00Z, and we can see the Euro throws some convection up into the Gulf around the 12th of June. So like I said, it's a little far out still, about 7 days out, and then tries to wrap that up and potentially gives us a tropical storm trying to make landfall somewhere in the Gulf. Too far out. We don't even see an attempt at tropical cyclogenesis until we're like 8 days out. We're talking almost 200 hours out. I wouldn't be overly concerned. I will say the waters are warm enough in here. There is expected to be a pocket of lower shear, so there probably will be a window for development, but not the most favorable window for development. Right now, I'm not expecting anything significant, but I also wouldn't be surprised if we had a weak tropical system form in the Gulf here. So let's keep our eyes on the Gulf. Okay, let me get back into outlooks. Weather Prediction Center. Let's quickly take a look at our excessive rainfall. Now, I'm just going to run through this. You can see day 1, day 2, day 3. Where are we looking at the potential for excessive rainfall? Center of the country, Ohio Valley, we're going to see a lot of rainfall. But if you look at these slight risks, or 2 out of 5 risk for excessive rainfall, day 1, which is today, Texas, and then up there through portions of Iowa, northern Missouri, and eastern Nebraska. We get into day 2, excessive rainfall, slight risk. We're watching through portions of Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. Then that transfers out through portions of Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. And then day 4, this continues to transfer east, and now we're pushed over into the Ohio Valley. This includes portions of Illinois, Indiana, portions of southeastern Missouri, Tennessee, northeastern Arkansas, and then you can see a good chunk of Kentucky there. This excessive rainfall will be moving itself slowly east, and then eventually you get into day 5, and you have a big portion of the Ohio Valley in that marginal excessive rainfall, and then up into the Great Lakes region as well. So a lot of rainfall over the coming days, and I can quickly actually show you. Let me do the national blend of models, and let me go to quantitative precipitation, and we're going to push this out. We'll push this out through next Friday, so about a week. And you can see the areas that are really winning here through portions of the Ohio Valley and the Midwest. A lot of rainfall down here through portions of Louisiana, Mississippi, northern Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky. this area that I circled here, we could definitely see a lot of rainfall over the next 7 days, and then some really good rainfall as well through portions of the northern Rockies, northern Plains, and upper Midwest as well. So those are the main target areas we're watching. And actually, I don't want to leave out, it looks like there's a ton of precipitation on the way over the next 7 days for you guys as well. Definitely the Keys, Miami-Dade County, a lot of precipitation on the way over the next 7 days, at least expect it. And then up here in the Pacific Northwest as well. The areas that don't look like they're going to receive so much, Central Rockies, the desert Southwest, no surprise. And then up and down the East Coast here could be a little bit dry over the next week. Now let me get back and we're going to quickly go into our temperature outlook and precipitation outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. So this is from the June 10th to the June 14th range. So our 6 to 10 day range. Most of the country is warm, and then most of the country is going to see above average precipitation. What areas are standing out? Well, a little bit cooler for portions of the northern Rockies, as you can see. And then if we go into, and very warm for the Great Lakes region, portions of the Ohio Valley and Midwest and inner New England from June 10th to June 14th potentially. And then precipitation-wise, you can see the Northwest and New England look like they're going to be above average precipitation as we push into next week. Getting into the 8 to 14 day range, so this is mid-June. It looks like much of the country is going to see above average precipitation, except for the Northwest could still be dry. And then we take a look at the temperatures, and most of the country is running slightly above average. Let's break down the severe weather really quickly. And I'm just quickly going to take a look. We're going to go to our upper air pattern, and here we go. So this is the 500 millibar upper air pattern, and this is kind of what helps to organize our storms. You can see we've got a nice jet streak through the upper Midwest and through portions of the Midwest Great Lakes region. So we'll have that jet stream there to help organize storms. Not seeing a ton of low-level shear in the upper Midwest, although I will say this morning we weren't really seeing any of this. So I can see why they put a slight here. We're now starting to see a little low-level shear. LLJ is kicking on through portions of Minnesota and Wisconsin, and we also have a good 500 millibar jet there. If we take a look at our CAPE, or our instability, convective available potential energy, we'll do mixed layer CAPE here. Plenty of instability up there. You can see plenty of instability in these areas where we have these risk zones, especially where this slight risk zone is and where our highest tornado risk is here through portions of south and eastern Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, and then into northern Illinois. So lots of instability. If we look at our significant tornado parameter, this is where our SIGTORs are showing up. Yeah, so this does start to ramp up as we get later on in the evening. So let's request a sounding here out of southeastern Nebraska as we get into around 9-10 p.m. Very curved photograph here. And then we have a ton of CAPE here as well, instability. So that rotational shear really gets kicking on as we get later into the evening. Let me take this out of southwestern Iowa as we get later into the evening as well. We're talking about 10 p.m. and on. Again, a very curved photograph here. So you have that rotation, a lot more storm relative helicity. So that indicates violent rotation. And now our surface shear is between 30 to 40 knots. So I would say definitely watch out as we get to around 9, 10, and 11 p.m. that we could have a late nocturnal tornado threat. All right. It does look like I said, we're going to see these severe thunderstorms kicking on, at least the most damaging potential severe thunderstorms kicking on later in the evening. As you can see, we could have some strong to severe thunderstorms rolling through Minnesota and Wisconsin around 6 to 7 p.m. And I did the thing. And then the most dangerous severe thunderstorms look like they're going to be firing off around, like I said, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're watching this region down here. Southeastern Nebraska, southern Iowa, northern Missouri, and then northern Illinois. Let's make sure you're watching the skies. Just taking a quick look at tomorrow, it does look like those severe thunderstorms, if we push this forward here, at least the worst of the severe thunderstorms, could be kicking off mid-afternoon. You can see some strong thunderstorms through portions of inner New England here as we get into the early to mid-afternoon, but then we get that long kind of streak of thunderstorms firing off here as we get into around 7 p.m. or early to mid-evening. Again, not looking like it's going to be too crazy tomorrow, but we are watching this region out here in western PA and northeastern Ohio for some potential spin-ups or some potential tornadoes tomorrow. I really appreciate you guys watching this video. If you like this type of content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're notified anytime I'm live streaming or anytime I upload new videos. I also have an awesome weather Discord that is updated with all the latest weather information every single day, from the tropics to winter weather to severe weather. Everything's in there. It's Connor's Climate Corner. You can actually click the link right below in the description to join for free, or you can just add Connor's Climate Corner on Discord and I'll add you as a friend and I'll make you a part of the climate crew. Again, I appreciate you watching and I'll see you in the next video, or I'll see you in the live stream later.